Welcome to the show of
Who Hurt This Reviewer?
the show where I find the most unhinged Steam reviews on the internet and try to figure out what emotional damage caused them. Today we're looking at Valheim. As of recording this, I have 1,331 hours in this game. So trust me when I say I've seen it all. I understand this game very well. Now let's break apart these reviews together. Overlord with 132 hours of playtime says extremely boring grind to mine copper, but then when you get to iron, where do you get iron? You have to go to a new biome, which is always extremely far away and typically requires you to sail to get to it. Sailing takes forever and a day with barely anything to do because the devs have stopped making content for the ocean and have no plans to pick it back up. First of all, there's a really easy setting that anybody can do, even on vanilla, to adjust how much resources you can get. You just gotta go to the world modifiers. You can increase how much resources you get. It doesn't have to be grindy. I do agree that the ocean is lacking in things to do, but this game is early access, and you really don't spend that much time sailing. Part of the joy of Valheim is exploring and looking for those new biomes, but the part that kills me the most in his review, once you get to the iron-having biome, he's talking about the swamp, you have to then survive the enemies that will kill you in 2 shots because you had the gall to not already be in iron armor. Yeah, when you move to the next biome, it's supposed to be difficult. Let me go to the description of Valheim. A brutal exploration and survival game for 1 to 10 players. Let me repeat that again. A brutal exploration and survival game. You need to learn how to parry. You need to learn how to dodge. You need to level up your skills. That's what this game's about. I think the part that kills me the most is that he has 132 hours. Bro, if you didn't like the game, stop playing. X-Splice with 356 hours. Really think about that. They have played this game for 356 hours and they are not recommending it. First thing they say, amazing base game. I would have given this a thumbs up years ago when I first played it. The big problem now is the developer's arrogance. Enable Steam Workshop. Look, I can agree, mods are fantastic and a Steam Workshop would be nice. It is so easy to install mods on this game. You just download R2 Mod Manager and it's as easy as the Steam Workshop. You can't play the game for 356 hours and be mad that they don't allow mods directly in the Steam Workshop and then not recommend it to others. You clearly enjoyed yourself. I just ultimately don't agree with it. Okay, now we've got Not So with 157 hours, and they're not recommending it. They start off their review with, honestly, this game is a ton of fun, especially with friends. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to give this a thumbs down. My main gripe is with the cooking system of the game. For context, you set the thing you want to cook down and it begins cooking for about 15 to 30 seconds. Then it is all ready to be picked up. However, if you wait too long when picking it up, it turns to coal, effectively wasting the food you were trying to make. Yeah. Food burns when you leave it cooking for too long. Shocker. We've got Coley Bubblers with 786 hours on record, not recommending the game. 786 hours, and you're not recommending the game? Why do you hate yourself? If you had all of this to complain about, why did you play it for 786 hours? The new additions just don't offer enough to come back to. Look, I get it. The devs are taking their sweet time with updates. It is still in early access. Yes, we all want the game to be finished. Do you know how many rushed games come out and they end up being a disaster? I would be willing to wait 10 years for this game if it meant having a real finished product. But the thing is that if you have 786 hours in a game and then you're complaining that the new additions don't offer enough to come back to, like, dude, you got your money's worth. Yeah, you didn't quote unquote finish the game, but you got your money's worth. I don't know what else to tell you. It just boggles my mind that people can complain about there not being enough, yet spent this amount of hours playing the game. He does spit some facts of things that I would want out of the game, so I can agree with that. But you can't not recommend a game after playing it for 786 hours and then say, well, it could be better. Okay. Anything could be better. We got DDD Bunny, 175 hours. Not recommending the game. Too long didn't read. If you like spending hours of your life for a 5% chance of progressing a game with no real plot, Valheim is for you. Otherwise, skip it. Okay. Again, you can adjust the resource rate if you want. It's in the game. And if you think that you are spending hours of your life, why did you play it for 175 hours? Why not stop at 10, dude? If you felt it was too grindy and that was your complaint, why do you have 175 hours? Why put yourself through hell to play a game that is wasting your time? We've got Witters, not recommending the game at 271 hours at the time. Honestly, imbalanced. At around the mountain region, you'll find yourself pulling your hair out because of the wolves and their insane damage, despite full silver armor. And not only that, their insane attack speed. It's not a Souls-like because it's hard with the requirement for skill, it's hard with the requirement for patience. It's hard for the sake of being hard. Bro, I think you're just bad at the game. Also, a brutal exploration and survival game. Dodging wolves and parrying them is not difficult. You just need to practice and get good. The game is incredibly kind with iframes, and as long as you have enough stamina and you're eating the correct foods, which you should understand by the time you get to the mountain biome, you should be fine. Yes, it should be difficult, but it's also incredibly fair. Don't go into the mountain at night. Go during the day. Use a bow and arrow. Isolate them. Like, there are things that you can do to make it easier for yourself. If you're just going in there and you're swinging a sword and you're just hoping for the best, yeah, you're gonna die. This is blowing my mind. We got the Human Con with 459 hours. Again, they're starting off their review with saying, Valheim is hands down one of the best survival games I've ever played. Why are you giving it a negative review? You can't say that and then tell other people, don't buy it. The atmosphere, the music, the exploration, the feeling of carving out your own little home in the wild, it's pure magic. Every adventure with friends feels like a saga, and the game nails that balance between relaxing building and intense combat. If you haven't tried it, it's absolutely worth picking up. Why did you give it a negative review? Oh wait, that said, the development speed is painfully slow. We're talking a year plus for a biome update with only a handful of new enemies. This game has been in early access for almost 4 years now. And while I understand quality takes time, the drip feed of content makes it feel like we'll be waiting another 4 years before it's done. That's like a complaint. You know, you're like frustrated with that fact that they're not getting the game finished because you want to complete it, and yet you have 459 hours in the game. That's a lot of hours. That's a lot of time spent. In my opinion, who cares if you haven't beaten the game? You've enjoyed it. It's early access. I guess I can just never truly understand these reviews where people are saying it's taking a long time, because yeah, it is, and it sucks. I agree, but it doesn't mean that it was money wasted. And I think that is what I want people to take home from this whole video, is that just because something's not finished and you enjoyed yourself and you had fun along the way, you created your houses, you explored with your friends, you built in different biomes, you explored, you conquered, you made the world yours, and you laughed along the way, why would you not want other people to experience that? If Valheim is hands down one of the best survival games you've ever played, why wouldn't you recommend that? Even if it's not finished, even if there are things that you dislike about it. If you're playing a game for over 100 hours, I don't think you have any right to not recommend a game just because it's not being finished on your timeline. Anyways, that's it for the episode of Who Hurt This Reviewer. What game would you like me to cover next? Let me know in the comments. Okay, thanks.